All right, 80% win rate strategy. I'm not going to bore you with any kind of intro. I'm literally just going to get straight into the video and the strategy. If you do enjoy this, then please do drop a like, subscribe. And if you want signals for this, you can get them down in the description below. Sign up to the private Discord. So the strategy is we're looking for accumulation in the market. Something like this. You know, the market does this all the time. You've got these areas where you just accumulate and go sideways. You're looking for that really nice sweep of liquidity. You've obviously got a nice liquidity level being built up here. At your low here, there'll be tons of stop losses below this, as you can imagine. People will be like, oh, I entered here, my stop loss is below, I'm waiting for the market to go higher. Obviously, we're at all-time highs for the US stock market in general. NQ specifically is what I'm trading right here for futures. Everyone's expecting the market to just keep going higher. What we're looking for the strategy, sweep of liquidity. We come down. We've got our accumulation, we get your manipulation to take out all these stop losses that we know are down here. The market knows that these stop losses are just chilling here, waiting to be taken. We come down, we hit all the stop losses, we get that manipulation, and then we get the distribution, which is the move in the direction of everyone that was right, but they got stopped out, and then the move goes in their favor. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for these nice V-shaped recoveries, and then what you're looking for is to enter the V-shape as it's coming back up, getting into a position here, and then riding it back up through the distribution phase, basically. This is what we're looking for in the markets. Very, very simple and easy to spot. You can do this on any time frame, 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes, all work the best for me. You can do these on the 15-minute, but they can take a long time to play out. So if you're planning on swing trading a position for a few days, you can take them on the 15-minute. A perfect example of this, actually, before we come back to that, was on the gold. I took a gold trade on the 15-minute. Was it on Friday? On Thursday here, and it actually still hasn't hit the final take profit, and it's Monday. But you can see quite clearly here, this was basically the V shape that we were looking at. Lovely manipulation down below this level of liquidity. Lovely V shape back to the upside. The entry model is this fair value gap you can see here being created. You've got your lovely little close back above that fair value gap, and you can see this came up and hit the 1-for-1 pretty much instantaneously. Ran all the way back up, but I'll come back to this in a minute because you want to know what the strategy is, don't you? So very, very simply here, let me put this on the 5 minute so it's a bit easier to see. You've got your nice bit of accumulation. You've got your level of liquidity that you can sweep. We come down, we sweep the liquidity. We're looking for a nice V shape back to the upside like this, and you want it to be really in 5, 6, 7 candles like this, pretty quick. And you're obviously forming, like I said, this fair value gap. This is a big, big void in the price action where there's not many orders. So if you do come back up through this level, you'll run through it really quickly because there won't be many orders in either direction here that could potentially block the price from running up or even accumulating down. So as you can see quite clearly here, you're looking for that really, really quick, easy price action back to the upside. You're going to be coming up, filling this gap and getting the close back above. This is what you want to be seeing. Once you close back above this level, you can enter the position. So that's my version of this strategy, because there are quite a few people trading this kind of strategy at the minute that I've seen. I actually found this strategy on Twitter around 6 or 7 months ago. Since then, I've been trading this strategy and I've got around an 80% win rate over the past, what we're looking at now, 5 or 6 months of trading this, which is absolutely crazy. It's completely changed my life and changed my trading outlook in general, to be honest. And this is the strategy. So the way that I trade it is you look for that inverted fair value gap back to the upside. You want to be looking this V shape. It wants to be 6 or 7 candles. It wants to be quick and snappy. You want to see momentum back to the upside and a nice candle back above this fair value gap. If you kind of come down like this, then you kind of start chopping around and then you're doing this like this, you're basically entering another accumulation, and you'd want to see a clean move below that and then back up again like this. If you see the V shape come down and start consolidating, it's usually not a good sign that it's going to V shape back up like this. Generally speaking, if it's going to do it, it'll come down, sweep the liquidity and bounce back up pretty quickly. Obviously, you can flick between your 1, 2, 3, 5 minute time frames, even the 30-second if you're trading on futures and you've got the 30-second. So you can take a look at potential entries for a move back up, and you can gauge the kind of momentum on each time frame and find the best fair value gap. Sometimes I check the 1 minute and I'm like, it's actually the 2 minute or the 3 minute that looks like a bigger, more obvious move back to the upside and a bigger, more obvious fair value gap. There's obviously not a lot of nuances to the strategy, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible in this video. So you can see you've got your accumulation, your liquidity sweep, your V shape back to the upside. You want to be seeing it in 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7 candles like this. you've got your inverted fair value gap. And then when it closes back above, I enter my position. I'm targeting a 1-for-1 for my first take profit. I've got a manual stop loss if we close back below this level. I did try using hard stops, but I do get wicked out so many times, and then the price action will go in my favor because people are obviously expecting, the market algorithm is expecting stop losses below this level. So sometimes you can get a wick down below like this, and then the price will continue up. So I use a hard stop, a manual stop, not a hard stop. I'll be targeting a 1-for-1, and then when we hit the 1-for-1, I'll go break even on the rest of the position, take half the position off and go break even. And then I'll have runners. They'll target up towards like a liquidity point like this. And then usually the high of day will be the final take profit, because we are at all-time highs. Targeting back up towards the high of day generally works a lot. And this is essentially the entry model. It's a very, very simple strategy, but it works really, really well from what I've seen. And I did simplify it quite a lot from some of the nuances that other people have been putting into it. Obviously, nuances can really help, but I find that for me personally, making it as simple as possible has really helped me to basically figure out what it is. So without further ado, and waffling about the entry model, let me talk about that gold trade that I took on the 15-minute, because it'll basically show you exactly what I'm talking about in terms of everything that I just explained. So let's take this off. So we've cleanly got, you can see here, we've clearly got a nice level of liquidity. There was actually a really banger trade here as well that you could have taken. If you look at this one in the one previously here, although it technically would have been invalid because we did hit the internal swing high before we got the entry. You can see the V-shape kind of V-shaped before we actually got the entry there, but you can see we did get a nice liquidity sweep, really insane momentum back to the upside off of the back of news, I think this was. You can see you could have entered here and this would have run all the way up to probably a final take profit up at one of these swing highs, as you can see, before coming back down again. That would have been an absolutely insane trade, but we're looking at this trade here that we took. We've obviously got another level of liquidity being formed. You can see quite clearly that this is a good swing point here that we're going to come down in here again. Big momentum through it. And then once you see that, you're thinking, okay, can we get the nice move back to the upside? The 15-minute here, really, really good V-shape. You can see big move down, a little bit of consolidation, and then the move back up. Good momentum candles back to the upside, entering on the inversion of this fair value gap. We close back above, manual stop loss if we close back below. You can see quite clearly here, we ran all the way up to the first take profit pretty much instantaneously. Oh dear, a little bit of a sneeze there, I do apologise. I've been a little bit sick recently, so I do apologise if my voice is a bit gravelly. But as you can see, lovely, lovely move up to the 1-for-1, and then you go break even on the rest. And then I probably have my runners up to some clear points of liquidity here, which is what I did. I actually posted this in my Discord, by the way. This was one of the winners that we took last week. If you don't want to get signals for these alerts and for these winning trades, you can get them down in the description below by signing up to the private Discord. I think I had my first take profit I think it was round about here. I like to have my take profits just before the liquidity points in case we reverse before we hit them. So I think I had one here, and then I think I had one here, and then I had a final take profit, which is up at this wick, which has got probably so many stop losses above it. It's unreal. And you can see we've been playing out through all of these pretty obviously. I'll actually just show you right now the Discord, so you can. I'll show you the proof that that's the wrong one. Where is my Discord? Let's go in the private Discord here so you can see. Just load it up. Come on, computer, don't fail me now. Let's have a look at trade alerts and signals. There we go. This is the gold trade. I actually alerted this here. This 15-minute looks pretty damn good. I might try it. If we get it, you can see this was as it was playing out. I'd already put the trade in the chat. So you could see quite clearly that if this triggered here and we got the close above, that I would be taking this. You could see we were just in the midst of getting it. And then I actually went and made some food, came back, and I said, oh, the trade had triggered. You can see it hit the 1-for-1 in the space of about half an hour. And then I said, I set my tape. I took half off, setting the rest to break even. And then I'm just going to let it run higher. You can see I had a few, these are the liquidity points that I set so people can see for the daily alerts. But you can see this run up, and I did actually alert this in the Discord. So pretty interesting stuff. This was a really good winner, to be fair. And I think people in the Discord took it as well. Pretty interesting trade indeed. And these happen all the time. We're obviously right now running towards the final TP if people are still holding. But I would realistically not hold things over the weekend, especially if it's futures. I have to close my positions on futures at the end of every day. So I just took a pretty decent profit on this somewhere around here and then called it a day, I think, as it pushed up. But this works on, I found really well on gold and also on NQ or NASDAQ or whatever you want to call it. NQ's got this really great habit of just coming down, sweeping liquidity and moving back up really nicely. Friday's price action was pretty horrible, so I didn't take any trades. You can see, as I was talking about, what I was talking about before, you want to see this accumulation, a clean sweep, and then a reverse back up. But you can see this price action grinding down, and then we kind of went sideways. We got a little bit of upside, we came down, and we were just going, look at this horrible grinding sideways price action. Nothing clean here that I really wanted to take. I think that was because we had such a good week before. You can see here, there was a lovely trade in here. Let me get rid of this alert. It's probably going to confuse everyone. There was a lovely trade in here. Basically every single day last week, we had banger price action, to be honest. Was it on the 1 minute that we got this? We got a push to the upside. I think it was a 30-second. I don't have the 30-second on my trading view, but I'll show you what it was. Basically, I've obviously got this really obvious level of liquidity here that wants to get swept. We came down, and on the 30-second, we obviously had this 1 minute here, but this would have been a loss. But because it was too small, I actually waited for the 30-second. And even though it took a bit longer than usual, I just had a really good feeling. As you can see, we got this, just swept this, and then we were consolidating. I had a really good feeling this was going to come back to the upside. And on the 30-second, the actual inverted fair value gap was something more like this. It was a lot bigger and more obvious. And then when we closed back above it, we basically just ran straight up to the first take profit, set the rest to break even, and then we ran all the way up to the liquidity point up here. And then we actually ran to a new all-time high and beyond. It was a really, really good trade. As I said, these trades happen all the time. The day before, there was also one, I believe. I think the one before this was a 3 minute. If we just look at this price action here, you can see already the V shape. Just by eyeballing this, you can see the trade happened. But basically, this was a bit of a weird day as well. We kind of ground down, ground up, and then we got Trump flapping his gums. Basically, having this massive, massive dump to the downside. We created this huge fair value gap here that we came up and closed above. As you can see, massive, massive fair value gap. It did take a little while to play out, depending on where you had your stop loss. Obviously, I had mine all the way down here, but it's a massive, massive, massive fair value gap of like 50 or 60 points because of the Trump swing that we saw. But we did sweep out tons of liquidity to the side, as you can see, and we actually came down, swept this really obvious level perfectly, and then reversed back around. And I was like, okay, this is looking promising. It took a little while for this one to play out, but you could see that this actually worked for 1-for-1, set the rest to break even. Second target's going to be up at the high. As you can see there, we came up and swept that. That was like a 1.7 R. And I think I actually closed the rest of this because it was going into, as you can see, heading into the new day, and I can't hold positions overnight on my futures accounts. On my swing accounts, I actually held this too, all the way up to this next high, which was a pretty incredible trade for me personally, but that's not the strategy exactly, so I wouldn't be telling people to do that. But you can see this would have worked as well, going into the next day and the next open and the next trade that was here, and we actually eventually came up and hit that. Well, that was the all-time high. I knew this would probably go up and hit the all-time high after we got this massive reversal here. You can see this obvious V shape, and then we consolidate, we move up, we go sideways, we get a little sweep again, and then we go up again. So absolute banger trades. These happen all the time on NQ and on gold as well. Really, really good strategy. I do implore you to go and check it out, test it for yourself, watch the rest of my videos, because I do outline examples of this and the strategy every single day in videos. I'll stop waffling here because I don't want to waffle on too long. This video is already probably too long as it is. But do like and subscribe, leave a comment. And if you do want signals for this strategy, I do offer that down in the description below. You can come and join the private Discord. Every day I post a daily outlook. Let me just show you. I just opened this up before. Every day in the Discord, I post a daily outlook. So basically levels to watch for. You can set alerts for those levels so that you're ready for those potential areas that we're going to be getting into. Daily forecast here, as you can see, posted today. These are the levels that I'd be looking for to potentially get V-shaped reversals from. You can see these are pretty obvious. These are just 5-minute levels. I like to look for obvious levels initially. And then depending on how the day plays out, I will update this throughout the day in the trade alerts. You can see I'm always posting my ideas of what the potential trades we can get. And as I said, that gold trade that I just went over here, I alerted this and people could have taken this and it would have won pretty nicely, as you can see. Quite a few trades that I post all the time. I'm posting like basically 2 or 3 trades a day that could potentially work. I think I've had 1 or 2 losses last week, probably, or over the past few weeks, and probably about 5, 6, 7 winners, and they're more than 1 R most of the time. So very, very interesting. Really good strategy. I'll stop boring you with the details. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, get involved in the Discord, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.